Today we're taking a look at the Southern California vs Gonzaga match, which is happening on Tuesday, March 30th, 2021 at 7:15 p.m., and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And then there was 8. Actually, by the time that the USC Trojans and Gonzaga Bulldogs tip off on Tuesday evening, the field will be whittled down to 6 teams after 2 teams will punch their tickets to the Final Four on Monday night. The 6th-seeded Trojans, who are one of 3 Pac-12 teams in the Elite Eight, knocked off conference foe, the 7th-seeded Oregon Ducks, in the Sweet 16 by a score of 82-68 on Sunday. Meanwhile, the undefeated Bulldogs, the overall number 1 seed, are chasing history, more specifically the 1976 Indiana Hoosiers, as they continue to tear through the rest of the NCAA, defeating the 5th-seeded Creighton Blue Jays, 83-65, on Sunday. The Trojans picked up their 3rd straight double-digit tournament victory versus their Pac-12 foe Oregon Ducks Sunday night as they opened up a 15-point halftime lead and never looked back en route to their 25th win of the year. The team was stellar on both ends, allowing under 40% shooting to Oregon, while the offense shot over 50% both from the field as well as from deep, with Taj Edey and Isaiah White leading the way with 20 and 22 points as they combined for 7 of the team's 10 three-pointers. USC posted 80 or more points in their last 2 tournament games while covering the number for the 3rd straight outing, this time as 2.5-point favorites. The Bulldogs continued their dominance, prolonging their undefeated season by taking out the Creighton Blue Jays by 18 points in the Sweet 16 Sunday night. Drew Timme followed up a 30-point performance versus the Oklahoma Sooners by posting 22 points and 6 boards on 10-14 shooting to lead Gonzaga, while Andrew Nembhard finished 7-9 from the floor for 17 points and 8 assists as the team shot 60% FG. On the other hand, the defense held the Blue Jays to 41% on the night while missing 18 of 23 attempts from deep. The Bulldogs covered as double-digit favorites for the 3rd straight game. USC is 19-13 against the spread this season, while the over-under is 16-15-1. The Trojans have covered the spread in all 3 tournament games, including their 14-point win over Oregon in their last game, in which they were a 2-point favorite. Gonzaga is 15-12-2 against the spread, while the over-under is 15-14 this season. The Bulldogs have also covered the spread in all 3 games in the NCAA tournament. They were a 12.5-point favorite in their 18-point win over Creighton in the Sweet 16. A lot has happened since the USC Trojans have made the NCAA tournament Final Four in 1954, including the United States having 13 different presidents. Their win over Oregon in the last round broke a 20-year Elite Eight drought. Now the Trojans look to slay the giants of college basketball on Tuesday. USC ended the regular season as the 23rd ranked team in the country, and they have won 6 of their last 7 games overall. USC has defeated a 7 seed, a 3 seed, and an 11 seed in this tournament by an average of 21.3 points per game, with all 3 wins coming by at least 14 points. They stunned the 3rd-seeded and 12th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks by 34 points in the 2nd round. The Trojans continued their torrid shooting on Sunday, as they made 57.4% of their shots from the floor and 58.9% from three-point range. They did turn the ball over 14 times in the game, which was the only aspect of the game that they didn't excel in. USC scored 41 points in each half, as they raced out to a 41-26 halftime lead. Isaiah White and Taj Edey led the way for the Trojans with 22 and 20 points, respectively. White's 22 points tied his season high for points in a game. The Mobley brothers both scored in double figures in the game as well, as Isaiah scored 13 points, while Evan added 10 points in the win. However, it should be mentioned that Gonzaga is athletic and big on the defensive end, which could cause problems for the USC offense. In fact, they enter this contest allowing just 65 points per game in the postseason. In all, the play of White and Edey will be huge in deciding who advances in this contest. Each are shooting 45% from the field in 2020-21, with Edey connecting on 39% of his shots from deep. On the other hand, the Bulldogs are allowing just 33% shooting to opponents from long range this year. After giving up 85 points in overtime in their opening round Pac-12 tournament matchup versus the Utah Utes, the Trojans have done well for themselves on the defensive end as well, giving up only 63 points in their preceding 4 games. Their aggressiveness will certainly pay dividends versus a Gonzaga offense that ranks first in the nation in points scored per game along with field goal percentage. USC has shot unbelievably well in their 3 tournament games, shooting 54.8% from the floor and 50.9% from three-point range. They have made at least 50% of their shots from the floor in each game. For the season, the Trojans are shooting 47.4% from the floor and 36.3% from three-point range, while they are averaging 75.2 points per game. They are averaging 79.7 points per game in the NCAA tournament. Defensively, USC is giving up 64.5 points per game, while their opponents are shooting 38.6% from the floor and 33.3% from three-point range. They are 4th in the NCAA in opponents' field goal percentage. The Trojans have given up just 58.3 points per game in their 3 tournament games. Evan Mobley leads USC in scoring and rebounding, averaging 16.3 points. Gonzaga cruised to an 83-65 victory over Creighton in the Sweet 16 round on Sunday. Andrew Nembhard finished with 17 points and 8 assists, while Drew Tima led 4 Zags players in double figures with 22 points in the win. Gonzaga never trailed and led by as many as 27 points on the night, thanks in part to an efficient 25 for 33 shooting from inside the arc. Generating efficient offense has not been a problem for the Bulldogs thus far. Gonzaga will need to make it a focus against USC. The Trojans held both Drake and Kansas under 30% shooting in the first 2 rounds. Oregon only did marginally better, shooting 38% from the field. Gonzaga needs to be patient on offense and attack inside and outside. The Bulldogs cannot afford a slow start that will give the Trojans confidence and allow them to turn the game into a defensive slugfest that buys time for their offense to take over. Gonzaga needs to take control in the paint and on the glass. That's easier said than done going up against a future NBA lottery pick like Evan Mobley. Success will ride on Drew Tima's ability to impose his will around the rim and Jalen Suggs' ability to drive and kick to outside shooters. Tima has been a force in his last 2 games, averaging 26.0 points on 73% shooting. That level of performance against USC could pay huge dividends. Mark Few's squad will continue its quest for an undefeated season on Tuesday, and it comes into the Elite 8 ranked number 1 in the latest KenPom rankings. The Bulldogs have scored an NCAA best 126.4 points per 100 possessions for the season, first in the NCAA, and they lead the NCAA with an effective field goal percentage of 61.2%. Gonzaga does most of its damage from inside the arc, where it has shot an NCAA high 63.9% from two-point range on the year. So here are my betting suggestions for that game. While the Trojans really turned it up during the tournament, the Bulldogs have continued to perform like the best team in the nation. Again, USC has done well for themselves on both ends of the floor of late, but will have problems versus a solid defense for Gonzaga. Furthermore, the Bulldogs are able to kick it up a notch on offense, when needed, while stepping things up on the defensive end as well. Few teams have found a way to stay competitive with Gonzaga for even a half, let alone 40 minutes. The Bulldogs have length, speed, and athleticism in bunches. They are relentless on offense and can shut opponents down on defense at critical junctures. USC will need to play a near-flawless game to upset the nation's number 1 ranked team. A more likely scenario involves Gonzaga rolling to its 30th victory and making its second Final Four appearance in school history. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Gonzaga Bulldogs -9. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are coming off a win over Creighton, and they look for their second Final Four trip in school history and first since 2017. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are averaging 92.9 points on 55.3% shooting and allowing 69.3 points on 41.9% shooting. Corey Kispert is averaging 20.6 points and 2 assists, while Drew Tima is averaging 18.5 points and 6.9 rebounds. Jalen Suggs is the third double-digit scorer and Joel Ayayi is grabbing 7.5 rebounds. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are shooting 36.1% from beyond the arc and 73.2% from the free throw line. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are allowing 33% shooting from deep and are grabbing 35.5 rebounds per game. He Trojans are 9-4 ATS in their last 13 games as an underdog and 19-8 ATS in their last 27 neutral site games. The Bulldogs are 16-7 ATS in their last 23 Tuesday games and 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games overall. The over is 3-1-1 in Trojans' last 5 overall. The over is 39-17 in Bulldogs' last 56 overall. My second betting advice for that game is to pick under 153.5. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.